Hey everyone, today we are diving into something that, let's be honest, we all struggle with, that constant battle inside our own heads. We're going to talk about why we procrastinate, why we forget things we just learned, and most importantly, how we can actually start winning.
Okay, does this sound familiar? You sit down, you've got your coffee, you are ready to be productive, and then, an hour later, you're deep into a rabbit hole of cat videos. You ask yourself this question, and it's so easy to just feel lazy.
And then there's the other side of the coin. You spend hours, maybe even days, studying something new, you feel like you've got it, and then a week later, it's just gone. It honestly feels like your brain is a leaky bucket, right? So what is actually going on here?
Well, here's the most important thing I want you to take away today. This is not your fault. It is not a character flaw or a lack of willpower. It's just how your brain is wired. And once you really understand the mechanics of it, you can stop fighting against your brain and start working with it.
Okay, so let's tackle the first beast, procrastination. Why do our brains seem so determined to put things off, even when we know they're super important?
The first big reason is something called the instant gratification loop. See, your brain runs on a chemical called dopamine, and it's basically a reward junkie. It doesn't really care about what's important in the long run. It cares about what feels good right now. It's built for speed, not for significance.
And this is the choice your brain is making all day long. Over here, you've got that big, important report. The reward for that is way off in the future, maybe. And over here, you've got TikTok. The reward for that is instant, and it's guaranteed. Guess which one the primal, ancient part of your brain is going to choose? Yeah, it's not even a fair fight.
Next up, we've got something called the Zeigarnik effect. In simple terms, your brain absolutely hates confusion. When a task is just a big, vague blob like work on that project, your brain doesn't have a clear starting point. That ambiguity actually creates stress, and the fastest way to kill that stress is, you guessed it, to just avoid the task entirely.
And the final piece of the procrastination puzzle is ego depletion. The best way to think about this is that your willpower is like a phone battery. All day long, every little decision you make, every time you resist eating that cookie, it drains that battery. So by 8 p.m., it's no wonder you have zero mental energy left to tackle something hard. You're not lazy, your willpower battery is just dead.
All right, so that's procrastination. Now let's talk about its partner in crime, forgetting. Why does all that hard-earned knowledge seem to just evaporate?
Now get ready for this, because this number is staggering. A psychologist way back in the 1880s, Hermann Ebbinghaus, discovered something he called the forgetting curve. And he found that we can forget more than half of what we learn within a single day. One day. Your brain isn't a hard drive, you know. It's more like a ruthless gardener, constantly pruning away any information it thinks is just taking up space.
And oh boy, here is one of the biggest, sneakiest traps in all of learning. It's called the illusion of competence. This is when you're rereading your notes and you're nodding along thinking, yep, I know this. I remember this part. But your brain is playing a trick on you. It's mixing up the easy feeling of recognizing something with the much harder skill of actually recalling it.
Here's the key difference. Recognition is totally passive. It's like, oh yeah, I've seen that face before. But recall is active. It's being able to pull that person's name, where you met them, everything right out of thin air. Real learning, real mastery, that lives in active recall.
Okay, so I know this might sound a little bleak, right? Our brains are wired for distraction, and they're designed to forget. But here's the good news. This is not a losing battle. The secret isn't to fight your brain harder. It's to start using strategies that work with its natural design. And the single most powerful weapon we have against that forgetting curve is active recall. It's so simple. It's just the act of closing the book and forcing your brain to pull out the information. Every single time you struggle to remember something, you're not failing. You are literally building and strengthening the neural pathway to that memory. It's like a workout for your brain.
This is exactly why cramming for an exam feels like it works. But then a week later, the information is just gone. It's like building a sandcastle. It looks great for a minute, then washes away. The opposite is the spacing effect. When you review information over longer and longer intervals, you're telling your brain, hey, this is important, don't throw this out. And that's how you build long-term memory.
Now, one of the best ways to practice this is the Feynman technique. It sounds fancy, but it is so incredibly simple. You just take an idea and you try to explain it in the simplest terms you can, like you're talking to a little kid. And here's the magic part. The moment you get stuck, the moment you go, you've just found the exact edge of your understanding. That's pure gold. Then you go back, you fill in that gap, and you try again.
And this is the whole philosophy right here.
true understanding isn't about using big, complicated words. It's about being able to explain something so simply that almost anyone can get it. The act of simplifying forces your brain to make connections it otherwise wouldn't.
And here's another really cool brain hack. Your brain has what's called a narrative bias. Look, we didn't evolve to remember bullet points and abstract facts. We evolved to remember stories with people and conflict and emotion. So whenever you can, turn what you're learning into a story. It engages the emotional parts of your brain and makes the memory so much stronger.
Okay, we have covered the problems, we have covered the principles. Now let's put it all together into a simple, practical toolkit that you can start using right away.
So here it is. This is your new game plan. Don't just read facts, turn them into stories. Don't just write notes, draw pictures and diagrams. Constantly test yourself. That's active recall. Spread out your learning sessions over time. Try to find some way to connect what you're learning to your own life to give it some emotion. And finally, the ultimate test of knowledge, try to teach it to somebody else.
So look, that battle for your brain, it doesn't have to be a losing one. You are not lazy and your memory isn't broken. You just haven't been given the right instruction manual until now. So the only question left is, now that you know how your mind really works, what's the first small change you're going to make?